5 seasons, and we'll talk about his feelings when we get going here tonight. The opening tip, the ball is tapped on back to St. Peter's, and the Peacocks will have it first in the home whites with the blue outline and trim. Marist, the Red Foxes, of course, in the red base unis. First of 2 meetings between these teams. They all count the same, but with the new configured MAC this year, only the top 10 of 13 schools make it to Atlantic City. Knocked out of bounds here. It will stay with St. Peter's. There is Bashir Mason, season number 3. Last year, the MAC champions in the postseason after tying for 3rd in the regular season with Marist. Both teams were 12-8 in league play. Right elbow jumper is through for Bryce Eaton.
That's a really nice looking shot there, and that's what he brings to this team. It's just being able to knock down the mid-range. He's a slasher. He's so quick, but a good start for St. Peter's already. 10
points a game, 3rd most on the team. The redshirt freshman previously with Central Michigan, one of 7 newcomers to this St. Peter's team. Many of them transfers of greater age, stolen away.
Well, this is what St. Peter's likes to do. They like to turn you over here at the top defense in the MAC.
Underneath, Ziegler goes up on the pass inside, looking for Pasquarelli, turned it over back. Josh Pasquarelli leads the conference in a couple of categories, including field goal percentage at 51% among qualifiers. Here's Daughtry, now Jackson Price a touch. It's been the same starting lineup for Marist now for all 15 games, including tonight. Price gets free, reverses at the rack, and ties the score.
That was a really nice ball fake there. Pump fake and drive to the basket there, and the lane was wide open for him and finished on the reverse.
And the senior chipping in 10 points per game on the season so far. Expect this one to be one of the lower scoring games you'll see in the league this year. In and out on the 3 from Randolph. Offensive rebound. Eaton will try the triple. Short.
Well, definitely, like you said, both of these teams 1 and 2 in the MAC in scoring defense. So you can imagine it's a very defensive-minded game here tonight.
Allowing 65 and 66 points per game, respectively. St. Peter's is first. Marist is second. Up ahead. So, 1 on 3. So, powers through. Too strong. Tapped around. It's still loose. And it pinballs in. Jaquel Morris.
Oh, nice job just staying with it there. He had 12 rebounds last game against Kinesis. Just the right place at the right time there. Staying in the action for the putback.
He only averages 4 rebounds per game, but it's really a rebound by committee type of feeling for St. Peter's with just how much rotation they'll go through on a typical basis.
Yeah, Coach Mason is who's ever locked in, who's ever giving you good minutes out there, he's going to put you on the floor.
High intensity, defensive-minded team. Toughness and grit defines this program, especially when it's going right. Out of bounds, St. Peter's ball.
Well, the Peacocks are doing a nice job on the perimeter, not letting them see anything easily. But then when they attack the lane, the help side coming over, and so with the nice contest, knocks it off the leg.
Neither team has made a change just yet. We've played 3 minutes. 4-2 St. Peter's just underway. Peacocks 1 and 4 in the league. Marist is 5-0. Price on the steal, right on back. Price, maybe too much passing. Settling here for Elijah Lewis. Lewis continuing through, ties it at 4.
Oh, he's great. He can give you a little back to the basket move too. Very shifty player, has a really quick first step, so scoring that one easily.
Developing a little bit of an atmosphere here early on. Both fan bases attending well here in Jersey City, a place that Marist has struggled in its history, especially recently, and picking up wins here in Jersey City. Handoff inside, pass intercepted, intended for So.
That's now 3 turnovers for the Peacocks. There's got to be better passing in the post here. They got to learn how to value these possessions. Had 19 turnovers last game.
And both teams have only 4 shot attempts each in 4 minutes. It's been a little helter-skelter and sloppy. That is no surprise when St. Peter's is involved. Pasquarelli from the free throw line. Marist has the lead.
Nice job there. Tight coming off the screen. And Pasquarelli, we highlighted him in the open. So good at being able to knock down the mid-range shot, and you see it there off of the bounce, just knocking it down.
51% from the field on the season, and that is tops in the MAC. It's top 100 in the country as well amongst qualifiers. Level again, this time Bryce Eaton off the bounce.
Very tough drive there, just reading the screen, reading how the defender is playing him there, uses the screen, and then shields with the body for the tough finish with the right hand on the left side.
Well, Marist head coach John Dunn said this was a game you need to bring your hard hat to. Well, that's true. 5 minutes in, rejected partially by So. Slow, methodical walk up by Bryce Eaton. We've played 5 minutes, minimal whistles.
Seems to always be like that when you're playing with the Peacocks. They let them play.
No fouls until there. How about that jumper? That'll go for a 2 for Randolph and a chance for 3 at the line.
Well, that's a tough one there. Great body control there from Randolph. We talked about him, a terrific scorer in the MAC. Looked like his feet was behind the arc there. Interesting call. But, man, is he a tough guard.
I think the officials will take a look. We'll take a timeout. St. Peter's 9 and Marist 6.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
BK melts, wanna warm up, this sure helps. Classic bacon, shroom, and Swiss. BK melt season is tasty bliss. BK, have it your way.
You know what's smart? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Indulge responsibly with Factor. All of the flavor, none of the guilt. Ready in 2 minutes. Eat smart with Factor.
You were made to chase your passions. We were made to put them in a package.
A little more than 5 minutes gone by here in Jersey City. Ruled a 3, confirmed as a 3 for St. Peter's. We'll have a chance for a 4-point play from a St. Peter's shooter, Marcus Randolph, in just a moment. Let's take a look at our keys to the game. A little more than 5 minutes in.
Yeah, for Marist, they're going to have to get the ball inside. 42 points in the paint last game. Struggled to really shoot the 3 at 22%. And they want to speed up the Peacocks, make them make mistakes. So far, doing a nice job at that, turning them over. And then for the Peacocks, control the boards. 3rd in rebounding in the MAC. And they are 3rd in offensive rebounding as well, too. So they have to make sure they get in there and get some of those second chance points and valuing possessions, as I mentioned. Marist is coming into this game knowing that this team likes to play fast. They want to speed them up, turn the ball over. 19 turnovers versus Canisius, equaling to 15 points. They have got to value those possessions.
Bashir Mason, the leader of this St. Peter's program, breaks settle. And it will be Marcus Randolph. A chance for the 4-point play. The foul took him well inside the 3-point arc, but somehow he did leave with 2 feet from beyond the arc, so it still counts for 3.
Yeah, terrific body control there, and I mentioned it. He hit 4 threes last game, so kind of picking up where he left off with the hot hand there. Terrific shooter.
19 against Canisius. He's scored in double figures 9 times this year, and he's put up as many as 29. Did so against Iona back in December in early conference play before the holidays. Peacocks have their largest lead here early on at 4. Jaden Collins-Roberts, a rifled pass into the corner. The settled 3 for Daughtry in rhythm. Plenty of time to shoot.
Really nice pass there. Just looking over to the weak side, being able to bring the defense over to the strong side and the ball handler. That was a pinpoint pass there, and the feet set were ready.
The experienced junior from Queens knew he had time. He took it and converted. Back and forth, as we suspect this will be, as many of them are in the MAC. Ziegler fighting on through. Second chance and a foul, and free throws for Roberts.
Like I mentioned, offensive rebounding is going to come to play in this game. St. Peter's 3rd in the MAC in offensive rebounding. They're good for 13 offensive rebounds a game. And look at here at Roberts. just relentless on the boards there and realizing that he had the contact and went up with the shot.
And specifically, Roberts' offensive rebounds averaging close to 3, the 4th most in the conference, 2.77 for the second-year man with St. Peter's, the graduate student, with a stop at Virginia State University most recently. Roberts misses on the second, splits the pair. He's also 3rd in the MAC with 7 rebounds per game overall. 6 minutes gone. Daughtry hit a 3 the last time down. He'll try again, short this time. And the board to Ziegler. Randolph, Ziegler, along with Stephon Roberts, who did not start this game, nor did Elijah Perkins, who handles here. So, drew some contact, long 2, in and out.
It looked like his foot kind of hit So on the contest there, but no call.
I'll say that happened, I guess, prior to the shot coming, and they'll let that go. Tariq Watson is into the game for Marist. A catch for Watson, and the short jumper is through.
Yeah, well, he's really been coming along offensively for this team. Only averaging under 2 points a game, but he's been looking for a shot more and more as the season progresses.
Left side of the lane drive for Elijah Perkins. Knocked out of bounds. And it will stay with St. Peter's. A couple of changes for both teams. Trey Salton checks in for Marist along with Josh Pasquarelli. Just a brief rest. And we see for the first time Zakir Williamson for St. Peter's. And Marist also matches with Travis Roberts, who checks in as well. All level at 11 here, almost 7 minutes gone. Marcus Randolph with 4 points. Bryce Eaton with 4, leading the way for St. Peter's in the early going. There is Eaton, floats. Rebound cleared out by Saul, and a whistle and a foul on the rebound.
You don't want to pick a foul right there. Just trying to get your hands in. Eaton a little frustrated after missing that floater. Opened up for him, was wide open, but picking up a foul here, not something you want to do. We talk about the scrappy defense here, just trying to get his hands in. Grabs the arm in the process.
It is just the first foul as a team for St. Peter's, coming 7 minutes in. That's a good sign. The Peacocks foul, the 4th most in the country.
Yeah.
21 plus per game.
Yeah.
Let's not turn this one into Fordham UMass last night that had almost 80 fouls and went to triple overtime.
How long was that game, Drew?
3 hours and 40 minutes. It was college basketball. Out of bounds, Pasquarelli here, and another Marist turnover.
Yeah, that's real hoops right there, but a lot of fouls in that game.
Only 9 players fouled out.
My goodness.
One of those odd things you see in this beautiful sport that we all love. Eaton walking it up. Drew a slight double. Williamson, good work getting off of it and helping create some freedom for Eaton, but then it was thrown away.
Just another unforced turnover there. Now 4 for the Peacocks.
Quick release for Pasquarelli, a little awkward, and missed it off the left side of the rim. Here comes Randolph. Looking for a screen, doesn't use it. Randolph pulls up contested, well short, and the rebound down to Roberts. St. Peter's has not scored in the last 2 minutes. Marist on a mini 5-1 spurt over that stretch. Stopping in the lane is Watson, who just checks in, and the floater is good.
Yeah, really talked about the freshman there, how he's been coming along offensively. You can see the confidence that he's playing with. Really likes that high floater once he gets it into the paint, and he's been working it inside.
4 points already for Watson, averaging less than 2 per game. Williamson going to work, cleanly blocked. Maintains possession, and a whistle and a travel. Ziegler got it caught up on the crossover.
Well, there's another turnover there, and a great job from Marist. We talked about it. These 2 teams defensive-minded, and so far, Marist staying sound on defense, making things difficult for the Peacocks.
Red Foxes lead by 2, a little more than 8 minutes gone here in the first half.
In March 2022, St. Peter's University lifted up the world and left it wanting more.
The world needs more Peacocks.
We look like the world and feel like home. And our professors are Peacocks too. This is hands-on first-person learning. It's an education that's the total package. And we're much more than the sixth sparrow. When peacocks fly, we lift up everybody.
You can be a peacock too.
Anchored in a region that stretches across vibrant cities and historic landscapes, our institutions are driven by a commitment to academic and athletic excellence. Our student athletes are not only champions through competition and in the classroom, they are lending a helping hand to build a better tomorrow. Join us in shaping a brighter future in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Back here with you in Jersey City. A couple highlights from the early going. Jackson Price off the bounce. Josh Pasquarelli's been strong as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect as a start on both sides of the ball for Marist that you can want right now. They're shooting 54% from the floor, 50% from three, and they forced 7 steals. They've gotten 4 steals in the beginning of this half here. So coming out to a great start, being able to get things to operate in St. Peter's, just trying to get in a little bit of an offensive flow. Peacocks
have turned it over 5 times, still have taken more shots than Marist in the contest so far. A big reason for that, the glass. 4 early offensive rebounds for St. Peter's that we talked about. Well, back and forth early on, both teams looking to get into a rhythm, but Dom, this is a game that's likely going to be in the 60s, maybe even the 50s. If you go back the last 9 meetings between these teams, no team has scored 70 or more in any of those games.
I'm not shocked by that. 2 defensive-minded coaches, for sure. And making sure that's how you win games right there, getting some stops on defense. There's some times where the shots might not be falling the way you want, but you still have to play great defense.
Jason Schofield into the game out of the timeout. Marist will run through a 3-center rotation at the 5. Right now it's Schofield, the hometown kid from Poughkeepsie. We also see Eric Morgan Jr. for the first time for St. Peter's, handling here right wing. Jaquel Morris backing down Schofield. Another steal, another takeaway. Almost a foul, almost a travel. How about nothing? Kicked around and picked up.
Ooh, that was a wild play. A lot of action on that. Even saw at one point Collins Roberts had kind of almost stepped on the basketball there. The thing he did in twist an ankle.
Pasquarelli kicks out for an open 3 for Travis Roberts, and it's down.
Well, that's a great sign for Marist. Like I said, last game, 22% from 3. Finally getting some 3s to go early in this one.
That is just the 4th made 3 of the season for Travis Roberts, the transfer from Jacksonville State. Williamson inside, floater in tight, couldn't get it to go. Kept in though and alive by Morgan Jr. Way downtown for Eaton, good.
Well, there it is. Marist getting the stops that they want, but giving them the second chance points right now. And St. Peter's being able to knock down a 3 and capitalize off of cleaning up on the glass.
Hit that one from Montgomery Street here in Jersey City. St. Peter's snapping a 4-minute stretch without a point right there. Looking for the answer is Pasquarelli. Strong. Rebound controlled by Eaton of St. Peter's. Despite that make, St. Peter's is still 1 for its last 8 from the floor. Eaton gets the screen, kicks out for Morgan Jr., a triple. That's through.
Well, Eaton doing a nice job of just operating and controlling this offense. Brings all the defense over to that right side and then kicks back. Beautiful screen set up there for Morgan Jr.
Stephon Roberts will re-enter for St. Peter's. Jackson Price comes back in for Marist. Both teams then matched further with additional substitutions. Elijah Lewis is in. Armani Ziegler is in for St. Peter's. Oh, we'll keep it going. Jaden Daughtry comes in too for Marist. Officials have let these teams play. Only 3 total fouls have been called in more than 11 minutes. That is substantially fewer than I think both of us expected.
Yeah, I mean, they're letting them play with some toughness right now, and it has been tough to score down low.
Collins Roberts missed the 3. Price almost had the offensive rebound, and it is going to stay with Marist. Price is a little bit slow, favoring the back of his left foot, left leg. Looks like he'll stay in. Inbounds for Marist to Lewis. Shot clock reset to 20 seconds. Pasquarelli here, watched by Ziegler. Pasquarelli kicks out. Daughtry's hit a 3 already. Now a kick out. Price for the triple. Too strong. A whistle and a foul against Marist.
You know, Marist did not hit that shot, but it was perfect ball movement there. Just a little bit of penetration, throwing the pass back, finding some wide open shooters there. And then you see the action underneath the goal. I didn't see much of a foul there at all. And frustration from Daughtry on that call there. I didn't see much contact.
Daughtry, his first, team's third. Daughtry, Pasquarelli, and Watson have all picked up fouls. Daughtry exits, and for the first time we see Parby Kabamba, the freshman from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. 6-0 run for St. Peter's over the last 2 minutes, turning a 5-point deficit into a 1-point lead. It's been the 3-point shot. 3 triples for St. Peter's, 3 of 5 as a team. Five seconds on the shot clock. Now 2. Eaton puts one up. Off the back. Offensive rebound. Lots of stutter step moves around this area. Lots of traffic outside of the lane. 6 to shoot on the recycled shot clock, and it's out of bounds.
Wow, once again, Marist being able to get the stop that they wanted. I almost thought it was going to be a foul there on that possession, but they have got to clean up the offensive rebounding.
7:50 to go in the first half. St. Peter's 17 and Marist 16.
Target made Good and Gather for you, helping you save on tasty berries frozen at peak ripeness, ready whenever you need them. Everyday favorites at unbeatable prices. We made Good and Gather for you, only at Target.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires. You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Upgrade your plate with Factor. Chef crafted, dietitian approved, ready in 2 minutes. Eat smart with Factor.
Louis! Cut! More mud! Action! Louis! Louis! Cut! Mud on her face! Louis!
Okay, everybody, that's lunch.
Mud mask?
No. No. No.
Compare hotels in the Hotels.com app.
Try Little Caesar Stuffed Crazy Crust. Everyone loves it, including Justin Jefferson and all his friends.
Stuffed crust? Buttery garlic spread?
That looks mighty delicious, Justin. It sure does, Mr. Pumpernickel. And at $9.49, it's the lowest price in stuffed crust with no strings attached. No strings attached? You want a piece of me?
No, Mr. Pumpernickel. Justin, run.
Order delicious stuffed Crazy Crust for $9.49 and get your game day delivered with Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
Back here at Run Baby Run Arena, the pomp and circumstance of MAC basketball here in Jersey City on this Thursday night. Peacocks 17, Red Foxes 16. Well, Don, we talked about this in the open earlier. We're already 25% of the way on the conference play. It's 20 games.
Yeah.
But if you're St. Peter's 1-4, 3 teams do not make the postseason in Atlantic City. They did pick up the win on Sunday, but have to think a little bit of a sense of early urgency.
Yeah, they're hoping that things turn around here, and it starts tonight. You get those home games. You have to win those home competitions here, and we know that Marist is the top of their country, the top of their conference. They're undefeated right now, so it's going to be a tough one here, but protecting home court needs to be the priority. Getting a win here, and hopefully you can go on a surge the rest of conference play.
St. Peter's has won the last 3 meetings against Marist here in Jersey City over the last 3 seasons by an average of 12 points, actually. We're expecting one a little bit tighter, perhaps much tighter than that here this evening. Out of the timeout, Marist basketball. Pumping on the 3 was Kabamba. Both teams running through almost their entire available rosters already in this game. Lewis will try the 3. Off right rim. 2 Peacocks go up, and Ziegler comes down. Already 11 players have appeared in the game for Marist, and 9 for St. Peter's. Perkins at the free throw line. You saw the head be thrown back by Collins Roberts. So, way off, and a loose ball. So slow to get up, rather Roberts. It's 5-on-4 temporarily for Marist.
Oh boy, it's been physical down there, and we saw the refs are letting them play.
Really letting them play.
Been scrappy. And a nice job of getting on the ground for So.
I did check. The officiating crew here did not factor into that Fordham UMass game from last night. That'll be the last we talk about that.
You're trying to make sure they're the same one.
They got their quantity out. No, that's just been the way this one has been called. It's been very consistent, though. Top flight crew, Brian O'Connell, Nathan Hall, and Mike Nardone here tonight.
Well, a couple times the Peacocks are just, trying to figure out what they're doing on offense. Got to give them their sets a little bit faster there. Taking time off the clock. Now you got 8 seconds to work with here. See Randolph trying to direct Roberts where to go, but just got to move with a little sense of urgency on offense.
Awkward spot to inbound, especially with a short clock. Here's Randolph with 3 to shoot. Randolph continuing. Marcus Randolph fouled, and will get a pair of free throws.
Well, like we highlighted in the open, Randolph just so good at reading the defense. It spins back to that left hand there. Wasn't much Lewis could really do about it. Kind of had him on his hip there. Had no choice but to foul, but Randolph is so strong and goes right into the chest to get some contact and goes to the free throw line.
Well, he has been huge for St. Peter's this year, especially look back to last year. Peacocks without their top 4 scorers from last year, 2 graduations, 2 transfers. And Randolph last year averaged 7 a game. This year he's averaging 15 a game.
Yeah, just rises to the occasion there. I think Armani Ziegler has also had some great moments where he stepped up for them offensively. I mean, talk about what they lost. Corey Washington gave you 16 points per game last year. Roy Clark, Latrell Reed. It was some high-powered offense they had there.
And Michael Hogue was the 4th man in that group, in 4th position, out of bounds here in St. Peter's. That defense draws another Marist turnover.
Well, there you go. You got to get some stops if you're the Peacocks. At one point, Marist was shooting 54% from the floor, getting exactly what they wanted every single time coming down. So now the toughness of trying to turn them over and get some stops on defense.
Marist has not scored in more than 4 minutes. St. Peter's on an 8-0 run. This was a 16-11 Marist advantage just a little while ago. Elijah Perkins at the post, working on Collins Roberts. Perkins over Collins Roberts, missed it, and Jaden the rebound, and then was fouled.
Well, that was great defense there from Collins Roberts. I mean, Perkins has about 3 inches over him. Figured it would be a mismatch situation. Tried to body him up a little bit, but the strength of Collins Roberts to hold his own.
And that is precisely what St. Peter's was looking for. It's 3 inches on the rosters. It might be 4 or 5 in real life.
Definitely.
5.5 minutes to go. Lewis to tie the score, short. And Roberts, a one-handed rebound almost. He had that right arm tied up with a Marist offensive player. Perkins, bounce pass back for Ziegler. Ziegler, right elbow, strong. And Collins Roberts the rebound. Both teams have hit a little bit of an offensive rut here. Marist still without a point. It's more than 5 minutes. Kawa's entry pass. This is Watson, who's been pretty good inside. But here, he will get free throws.
Well, there you go. Just keep feeding him. Watson with the pretty footwork inside there. Kawa creates space in there, backs up just a little bit so he can get an isolation situation. And he gets bumped there, but incredibly strong for Watson, just having him play down low. He can do a little bit of everything.
True freshman from Middletown, New York. Tariq Watson misses on the first free throw. Just his 9th free throw attempt of the year. And it's been a bit of a struggle. 3 for 9 now. Flurry of changes on both sides. Misses the second free throw as well. Watson remains on 4 points, which is just 1 point off his career high. So the 8-0 run continues for St. Peter's. It's spanned now 5.5 minutes of game time. Eaton in the lane. Kicks out for So. He can shoot it from 3. Around and out. Strong rebound by Watson.
Well, it seems like the Peacocks been getting some decent looks. Kind of a couple of possessions. Haven't been able to get them to go down.
St. Peter's shooting just 32% as a team, but leading this one by 3. It's been the turnovers that have hurt Marist. Only 4 of them officially, but they haven't really been able to get into a rhythm offensively at all. Pasquarelli's strong.
Great on-ball defense there, making that one difficult. Even the stop and pop had a contest.
Approaching 4 minutes to go until halftime. St. Peter's is now on a scoreless streak of more than 2 minutes. Nobody scored in that stretch. Ziegler back with Bryce Eaton, the 2 best defensive teams in the league. Well, we're seeing that. Ziegler, look out, scores.
Well, you know, when he first had the ball, I don't think Ziegler realized how much space the defense had given him in that moment. And the crowd was kind of looking like, shoot the ball. But then he makes a much more difficult shot underneath the goal. The high-flying ability of Ziegler.
It counts for 2 nonetheless. St. Peter's has a 5-point lead, its largest lead of the game. Pasquarelli into the corner, faked by Daughtry. Daughtry reverses, 3 on the way. Strong, another rebound taken by St. Peter's.
You know, Marist came out hot shooting some threes, but now they are struggling. They are 2 of 9 from 3.
How about Eaton for 3? Way off. And it looks like that, we say it's ill-advised. And a timeout.
It looked good from here, didn't it?
Marist will take the timeout. It will be extended into a full break. St. Peter's in the midst of a 10-0 run. Marist has not scored in more than 7 minutes. Fortunate to be down just 5 here in Jersey City.
In March 2022, St. Peter's University lifted up the world and left it wanting more.
The world needs more peacocks.
We look like the world and feel like home. And our professors are peacocks too. This is hands-on first-person learning. It's an education that's the total package. And we're much more than the 6th borough. When peacocks fly, we lift up everybody.
You can be a peacock too.
Anchored in a region that stretches across vibrant cities and historic landscapes. Our institutions are driven by a commitment to academic and athletic excellence. Our student athletes are not only champions through competition and in the classroom, they are lending a helping hand to build a better tomorrow. Join us in shaping a brighter future in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Some of the highlights from the first half of play. Tariq Watson has been a big bright spot for Marist.
Yeah, he's been taking it inside there, looking for his shot, but Marist been having terrific ball movement is the way they started this game, but kind of got into a little bit of dribbling, ISO situation, kind of put them in a rut where they couldn't hit anything, but St. Peter's shooting 37% from 3, and Ziegler, we've seen a whole lot of high flying from here with a tough finish. Both teams with 6 points in the paint right now. But I think the difference has been the Peacocks. They haven't been turning the basketball over since that last timeout. Still at 7 turnovers in this game. That's how they've been able to get some good looks on offense.
And, you know, statistically, Marist has really protected the basketball really, really well. Only 4 turnovers. It seems as if it's 8, should be 8 or 10.
Yeah.
They just have been very uncomfortable, which is what St. Peter's defensively does to almost everybody that it opposes.
Yeah, they want to get up in your grill on the perimeter. They're making everything difficult here. And I feel like a couple of times Marist been kind of settling for some contested threes as well, too, shooting 22% from the floor. They got to go back to taking it inside. We've seen Watson be able to operate. They got to get some more looks down there.
So that was a Marist timeout. Red Foxes use it or lose it break in this first half. 10-0 run for St. Peter's. Inside to Schofield. Defensive help comes. Marist, though, could not deny Jason Schofield. First points for Marist in more than 7 minutes.
Well, just like we said, getting it inside, right? Hit Schofield with a couple of ball fakes there. And then being able to slow and steady scored that one in the paint.
Interchange with Eaton and the handoff for Marcus Randolph. Bryce Eaton goes baseline, draws 2. Ziegler tries the 3 and gets the friendly roll.
What a pass there from Eaton. Cross-court pass, Ziegler ready. Set his feet after the low pass there. You know what's interesting, but something my mom always said, when it's a low pass out to the 3, it forces you to use your legs to get that shot. And it's exactly how Ziegler was able to hit that.
3 goes down, the great assist as well. Lewis hit here by Bryce Eaton, and it will be free throws for the Red Foxes. So Eaton with 7, Randolph with 6, Ziegler now with 5 on the St. Peter's side, and very similar for Marist. Watson leads the way with 4, and then a host of others with 2 and 3 points each.
And you know, St. Peter's getting a few more trips to the free throw line in this first half, and maybe Marist earning some trips. Can maybe get one to go and get an offensive rhythm here. Even the shot's not falling, can't really get in the groove. Maybe draw some contact here, get to the free throw line. But so far, they're 0-3.
A Marist team that shoots it at 70% as a team, which is 11th in the MAC. That is one of the higher marks of really any conference. If you look at all the teams free throw-wise, 70% is 11. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
2 minutes to go. Lewis misses both, so 0 for 4 to begin. Randolph may have been fouled. No. Might have kicked that left leg out a little bit. Does not get the call. Ascarelli the rebound and quickly up ahead. Slight bobble by Collins Roberts, but regains it. Gets a screen. Not much doing there, though. Jaden Collins Roberts lost the ball. Stolen away by So. Up ahead, back to So, but he lost it. Never really had it on the catch.
Frustrated after that one there. I thought it was a great hedge on the screen, making that difficult. You kind of saw that play unwinding there. St. Peter's defense just turning over. From here, the retreat. And then Collins Roberts just loses it. Nice ahead pass there. Maybe a little bit behind, So, but he just could not maintain possession there. Gets out of bounds.
Jaden Daughtry back into the game for Marist, and now sporting some left wrist red tape that he did not have earlier in the game. Lewis bumped left side of the lane for Price. We approach 1 minute to play in the first half, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Williamson of St. Peter's. It'll stay with Marist. Marist with just 2 points in the last 9 minutes.
Well, that's what the Peacocks do. #1 in the MAC and defense, scoring defense, holding opponents to only 75 points a game, 65 points a game. And they're slowing down Marist's offense. That team usually averages 70. 4th in the MAC. They just cannot get in a flow.
Officials making sure everything is all set to go on the stack inbound set. Don't see that very often. Very intense conference contest as Price goes up and could not finish.
And missing the chippy there too. They needed that bucket. But again, just the physicality down low. It has been tough for the Red Foxes to get anything easy.
A 30-second timeout. And both teams now have not scored the last 3 trips down. Rebounding, St. Peter's is +8. But it has certainly been a grind, and it's about what we expected in a game featuring the 2 best defensive teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the game, it seems like the Peacocks were able to kind of stay alive in that by getting some offensive boards. They had 6 offensive boards, but so far, they haven't picked up any more. Marist's been doing a nice job of one-and-dunning them, being able to get out and set up their offense as well. But both teams are so defensive-minded, and the refs are letting them play. They're going inside. It's physical. They're going into the chest. There's no call.
And it's been consistent, and that's a big thing to always watch when St. Peter's is involved with its defensive intensity. What will the whistle be like? Because that can impact a lot of things. It certainly has made life difficult for the Marist Red Foxes here. But again, only 18 points, 19 minutes into the game. You're down 6. If you're going to have a tough night offensively, I think any coach would say, oh, okay, I'm okay with that, down 6 given where we are.
Absolutely. Haven't been getting the looks that they want, I think, on offense too. And as we mentioned, I mean, this is a team, they're good for 70 points a game. So you got to imagine that even though a slower offensive first half for them, you're gonna be able to find that burst somewhere offensively in your guys. You have multiple guys here who can really score for you.
So out of the St. Peter's timeout, it's 24-18, less than 1 minute to play. Peacocks might try and manipulate this to go 2 for 1. In terms of possessions, although taking quite a bit out of it here with 10 to shoot. Ziegler across for Eaton. Eaton looking towards the shot clock. Eaton drives all the way home, and he's blocked but fouled. Daughtry had the basketball in both of his hands, but a foul before that.
And it looked like Price maybe even palmed the basketball when he went up on the layup. So that is a really tough call there. Thought they got the stop that they wanted, but Eaton's so shifty. Looks like a little body contact there from Price as he picks up the foul. Man, both of them were in on it.
Free throw good for Bryce Eaton. Williamson will come out for St. Peter's, and Elijah Perkins comes back in. St. Peter's leads by 7. Largest lead, can make it 8 here, and Eaton does just that. And 9 points for Bryce Eaton here in this first half. Just the first foul against Jackson Price, by the way. Stephon Roberts, the only player in minimal foul trouble. 2 for Roberts for St. Peter's. We have not seen him in quite a while. 4-second difference between the clocks here. Great cut, and Pasquarelli finishes on the feed from Lewis.
I mean, what a beautiful pass there. Just the connection to teammates and dissecting the defense on that one.
Eaton the other way. We've got a whistle before this and a foul on the floor at the top of the key. No continuation of that nature, not even in the NBA.
Yeah, the crowd did not hear the whistle there, but nice job of just coming off that handoff tight there. And then Pasquarelli just beats the defender underneath the basket, a pinpoint pass.
Officials have gone to the monitor here, likely to check the clock. It stands at 1.9 seconds. And everyone was a slight tick late after the foul was called right around the right elbow by official Brian O'Connell. Officials confirming that here. Give us the hand signals. You saw them as well. 28-20. Our score here. And wow, from 1.9 to 5.2.
Wow, that's a big jump. It's usually not off that much.
Yeah, that's more than 3 full seconds. It was substantial.
Probably didn't hear the whistle. Probably didn't hear the whistle. The crowd didn't hear it either. It's loud in here. But that can certainly make a difference for a team.
Allows St. Peter's multiple actions, multiple passes, multiple dribbles by multiple players.
For sure.
So we'll see what the Peacocks have drawn up. They need an inbounder. And Brian O'Connell has put the basketball down. Enough is enough. You don't see that very often, but that was an abnormally long amount of time. Eaton on the right wing. Eaton in the corner, tries the long two, and it's short. It's all discombobulated. Second half, they went for 36, so looking for a similar game plan and a similar mindset and outcome if you're the Red Foxes. Away we go with the second. Appreciate you joining us on a full slate here in mid-January in the MAC. Marist, of course, with it here in the red-based uniforms. Pasquarelli dropped on back for a three from Price. Hits it. Exactly what you're looking for coming out of the locker room.
Oh, nice job and terrific patience there. Just kind of the handoff dribble there. They like the weave to get what they want, and then Price steps out and knocks it down. He's a 30% three-point shooter. If you're Mason, you live with that one, but it was a big three for Marist.
It is the 20th made three of the year for Jackson, and suddenly he's the leading scorer for the Red Foxes with 5 points. A bump down low, thrown away by St. Peter's. Marist can tie the game with a three, get within one with a bucket inside. Collins Roberts kicks out. Price hit a three on the last trip. Now Pasquarelli onto the floor, and it'll be a tie-up.
I think Price might have kicked that ball with his foot. Pasquarelli was trying to dribble, just too tight of a spacing there. Needed to reset and ended up being a turnover back to the Peacocks.
Yeah, that's a path train you don't want to get on.
Yeah.
It's too crowded. Wait for the next train.
Yep. Way too crowded there, and your own teammate kind of kicking the ball while you're trying to handle.
3-point game, 26-23, just underway in the second half. It's 5 straight points for Marist, going all the way back to the ends of the first half. That Pasquarelli jam on the beautiful pass were the last points of the first 20 minutes. Play continues. Bring your hard hat, as John Dunn said prior to this game. Eaton, crossover, long two. Crowd was ready to erupt.
What a move there. Snatched it back. They could not hit the shot. Showing us the ball handling skills.
It is going to be a battle. Down to the floor. Ziegler has it. And it's still alive. Bashir Mason is ready to run through walls. Everybody's ready to run through walls.
Look at Coach Mason over there. I mean, Ziegler, nice play here. Tries to throw it out to his teammates. Gets it out, but then look at him dive on the basketball again. The extra effort there from Ziegler. Plays so tough, and then Coach Mason pumps himself up after that one. He loves that grittiness.
I thought he was going to stand on the scorer's table. You love the intensity.
Showing the muscles over there.
Almost bursted right out of his jacket. Pasquarelli contested three, high arcer off the mark. Randolph grabs the rebound. (26-23), fight for every inch, every millimeter. St. Peter's looking for its first points of the second half. This is Eaton, the leading scorer, gets it to go. Tough two.
That's a really tough one right there. Walking down the defender. I talked about it all season long. He is so good at using the defender's body against them. Just presses into it, spin around, and the float game showing off here tonight.
9th double-figure scoring game for Eaton on 11 points now. 4 of 10 from the floor. He's made a three as well. This is Lewis, the transfer from Adelphi at the Division II level. Kicks back out, three on the way. The aforementioned Lewis drains it.
But that's just great recognition there from Marist. Now finally getting some threes to fall in this second half. But Eaton caught sleeping, stayed in the paint just a little bit for Lewis to pop out. He knocks down a wide open one.
2-point game at 28-26. Marist has outscored St. Peter's 6-2 out of the break. Randolph drives right elbow. Lefty release is through.
Well, the screen and the re-screen there from Morris. And Randolph so good at moving without the basketball, just gets himself free and then comes off the screen and hits one. They're going to need him to get some points in the second half.
Randolph to the floor, knocked it away. Randolph has it, trying to maintain it, and a whistle, and this is a foul against Marist.
Well, look how scrappy the Peacocks play right here. Nice defense from Randall, recognizing that Collins Roberts kind of held it out there to swipe through the pass. And then they just dive on the basketball, man. Every time there's a ball rolling on the floor, there's a Peacock down. They're jumping on it, going for it.
Really good call by Mark Nardone, the closest official there. Clearly wrapping was Collins Roberts without the ball, and then eventually got his hands on it. So it's a foul and an inbounds for St. Peter's in the backcourt. Second foul
turnover
against Collins Roberts, too.
Yeah, now that turnover number kind of creeping up there for Marist. Got 8 now in this game.
I hope the ice machine is working at the locker room level underneath.
They're going to be sore.
Everyone's going to need some on both sides. Heck, Bashir Mason and the coaching staffs might need some too. Fortunate that pass got intended to its intended target, Morris. Cut made, Ziegler going up and harassed and fouled. Free throws on the way.
It didn't look like they were going to get anything offensively out of that, but a nice cut here. You see Morris kind of looking to where to go with the basketball, and Ziegler just moving, making himself available, and draws the contact.
So 2 shots for St. Peter's on the other side of a timeout. Peacocks leaded by 4 early in the second half.
Anchored in a region that stretches across vibrant cities and historic landscapes, our institutions are driven by a commitment to academic and athletic excellence. Our student athletes are not only champions through competition and in the classroom, they are lending a helping hand to build a better tomorrow. Join us in shaping a brighter future in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
In March 2022, St. Peter's University lifted up the world and left it wanting more.
The world needs more peacocks.
We look like the world and feel like home. And our professors are peacocks too. This is hands-on first-person learning. It's an education that's the total package. And we're much more than the sixth borough. When peacocks fly, we lift up everybody.
You can be a peacock too.
Some highlights from the action here in the second half of play. The 3 from Jackson Price right out of the chute of the locker room, and Marist going back to the well with Lewis draining one as well.
Or knocking down some threes is going to be huge for them. Now have 4 in the game, but got to step up the defense. St. Peter's been coming right at them on the offensive end, shooting 66% from the floor in this half. And they've been getting everything that they want, turning over Marist as well too. So boy, it has been a battle in this tight-knit game.
Bashir Mason in the center of that huddle for St. Peter's, and everyone around the MAC knows toughness and defending and rebounding. That's this St. Peter's identity. He was asked about that. Bashir was following his team's win against Canisius on Sunday over the weekend, and he was very, very proud of his group, holding Canisius to under 50 points, doing a tremendous job defending, rebounding, and getting enough offensively. Called the game a stepping stone and hoping that it would lead to some momentum into tonight. And so far, through 24 plus minutes, I would say that that's happened.
Yeah, so far, certainly doing that. And sometimes for teams, you know, just getting that first conference win kind of fuels you a little bit. It's a team, they've had some injuries, a little bit of up and down season, but putting it all together at conference time is the right time to do it.
And Brent Bland has been out now for 6 straight, 9 of the last 10 is here with the team. That's still a little bit of a ways to the return. Free throw's good for Ziegler out of the timeout. Remember, he was fouled as he went for a rack attack before the break.
Well, Peacock's doing a nice job at the free throw line. Only missing 1 here tonight.
8 of 9. Marist 4 attempts, but 0 for 4 on this side. A foul, and Lewis will go to the line.
Wow, I think that was a travel there for Lewis. Looked like he changed pivot feet, but stepped through and kind of dragged that left foot. I think he got away with the travel, but even so, he's going to the free throw line here.
A couple of Peacocks fans agreeing with that assessment, that perhaps a travel. But Lewis will certainly take free throws, and this is the man you want at the free throw line if you're Marist. Elijah Lewis leads the conference in free throw shooting, 90%, 31st in the country at the start of today. And makes both.
Well, Marist hasn't had the performance that they wanted so far in this game, but they are hanging around here, only down 5.
7-6 Marist. Make that 8-6 Marist in terms of the scoring in this second half of play. Taken away in the center of the lane. Ziegler lost it. Now Lewis up ahead for the Red Foxes. Lewis fortunate to somehow still have it, but now it's lost and a jump ball.
I mean, how many times are we going to see these teams on the floor after a loose ball? And Lewis there, too tight of a pass there, and Ziegler gets his hand on it. Perkins does nothing but shield the basketball, make sure no one gets in on that.
Bashir Mason was hoping that there was no jump ball. He thought St. Peter's had clear possession. The arrow, though, for now does favor St. Peter's. That, of course, though, will switch here after this inbounds. Travis Roberts there entering the game for Marist. Elijah Lewis is now the leading scorer for the Red Foxes with 7, and Bryce Eaton, the only double-digit scorer in the game, leads the way for St. Peter's with 11. Here's Stephon Roberts, picked up 2 quick fouls in the first half. On the floor here, Ziegler off the window, well wide, and the rebound kicks all the way out near midcourt. Controlled by Jaden Collins-Roberts. And a foul on the drive through. Jaden Collins-Roberts lost his footing.
Well, you know, you mentioned in the first half the referees were letting them play, but you know, they always tighten up on it in the second half here, and the aggressive defense of the Peacocks. 2 hands reaching in, slapping the arms of Collins-Roberts. It's an easy call for the ref, and we know this is an aggressive defensive team, so they have to be mindful. You don't want to give them the free trips to the free throw line.
Well, it's a Marist team that does not get to the free throw line very much, averaging only 14 free throw attempts as a team per game, which is the 9th fewest in the country out of more than 350 Division I men's hoops teams. Foul on Perkins. Perkins has picked up a couple here for St. Peter's in the second half. He's now up to 3. The release from Collins-Roberts, draining both free throws. It's a 2-point game.
Marist got a fan section over there, really getting into it.
A short trip unless there's traffic. Marist did come down yesterday, so they stayed the night, didn't want to deal with that. Cut made to Roberts, couldn't handle it from Randolph.
It's a really nice pass there on the pick and roll. Just got to have that one there.
Marist can tie or take the lead with a bucket here. Marist last led at 16-14. Collins-Roberts somehow maintains the pivot foot. Now it's Schofield, lost the ball, and it's out of bounds, and it will stay with the visitors.
Yeah, no idea how it wasn't a 3 seconds call there. Schofield was in the paint for quite some time. Peacock's doing a nice job just clogging the paint.
.41 to go in the second half. A battle here in Jersey City. Lobbed in, coming really towards us until Collins-Roberts got to it. The way this game has gone, you would not suspect one team is 5-0 and one team is 1-4 in conference play. Did they get it away? No. No basket. Shot clock violation.
Terrific patience there. No breakdowns on the defensive end for St. Peter's, just staying sound, and Marist didn't realize the shot clock was winding down. Took a lot of time here. I mean, even on the inbounds, looked like it was a little bit of confusion offensively. Coach Dunn not happy about that one.
So this is a reviewable play. They're only going to review it because that ball did go in. The officials have an opportunity to correct correctable errors. And a quick review and no basket.
And it definitely looked like it was released after the shot clock there. I think that's the right call. So another turnover here for Marist. They only average 12 turnovers a game. So far, they have 10. And that's how it is when you're facing the Peacocks, man. They make you play uncharacteristic on offense.
32-30. St. Peter's back with it. Peacocks have not scored in the last 2 and change, and almost an unforced error there with players running into each other, but Eaton maintains it and stays in bounds. Randolph in the corner. High post, wide post rather, for Williamson, who gets through, and Zakir scores for 2.
And that was a tough one there. A spin move, absorbs the contact there. It was a lot of contact underneath, but still with the finish. Williamson getting some minutes and getting on the board.
First points for Zakir tonight. A transfer from the University of Buffalo. Schofield back to the hoop, going to work on Roberts. The hook is too strong. Twelve and a half minutes left to play. Williamson kicks it out. It's Eaton waiting as Roberts flashing. He'll set the screen. Kicking it around for Perkins. Perkins with 3 fouls, still on the court. Across the lane, the pass is stolen. And a foul will be called here against St. Peter's.
It looks like Williamson kind of jumped on the back there, trying to go for the basketball there. Right idea in this move. Roberts looked like he had the steal a little bit underneath the basket, just a short pass. And then again, a loose ball, and it's going to be a commotion every time Williamson picks up the foul.
Yeah, that's a great word, commotion. It feels like there's been a lot of just discombobulation, but that's how this St. Peter's defensive unit wants to play, and that's what it creates. Controlled chaos.
Yeah, it plays into their favor.
Foul there, Williamson, his first. 3rd team foul of the second half of play. Another 3 for Price. Pure.
And that was a mean crossover there from Daughtry, too, to get the spacing for Price. Ready to shoot 2 threes in this game.
34-33, under 12 minutes left to play. Roberts in the high post. Williamson flashing in the center of the lane. It's not there. Peacock just trying to get it somewhere. It's Eaton into the corner. 3, Morgan Jr. Strong. Contesting fan base chants here. Inside run, baby run arena. Price will try another 3. Hayes got another!
Really nice recognition there from his teammates as well, too. He's got the hot hand. They set a screen for him to come off of it, and he drills it.
Marist has its first lead since 9:34 in the first half. 18 plus minutes ago of game time. Eaton cannot tie the score. Have to find Price defensively if you're St. Peter's. Ascarelli, left elbow jumper, in and out.
And that was a tough break there. I feel like they even freed up Price again for the 3. Just couldn't hit the mid-range on that possession.
Williamson thought about the 3, opts to go to Randolph. Marcus Randolph working it here. Randolph on 8 points. Eaton has 11. Bryce Eaton. Williamson will take this 3. Offensive rebound. Randolph! Oh, what a finish! And he'll have a chance for 3 at the line.
What an electric player he is. A big offensive rebound right there, and his teammates are fired up along with him. The 7th offensive board for St. Peter's. That was a monstrous one that time.
This building is fired up too. Some of the spectators ended up right between us. We're tied at 36. 10:08 to go.
touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
BK melts. Wanna warm up? This sure helps. Classic bacon, shroom, and Swiss. BK melt season is tasty bliss. BK, have it your way.
You know what's smart? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Indulge responsibly with Factor. All of the flavor, none of the guilt. Ready in 2 minutes. Eat smart with Factor.
You were made to chase your passions. We were made to put them in a package.
Tied at 36, 10 minutes, 8 seconds left to play, and what has turned into quite a thriller. We expected it to be neck and neck throughout, and we are level. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the second half of play. The Marist Red Foxes needing a spurt offensively, needing a boost, and how about Jackson Price from 3?
Well, he gave it to him. I mean, he had 2 points in that first half, and look at the elevator screens here. Uses both of them. They just give him freeness to get a wide open 3, but Williamson played some nice minutes. The points in the paint, 12 for St. Peter's, but the offensive rebounding, man, it has been dynamic in this game. 7 offensive boards, 6 second chance points, but Randolph fired up after that one because, again, that was an insane putback there to hang in the air and absorb the contact for the finish.
It was a Zakir Williamson 3-point shot from the corner. Now, you know, 3-point shots tend to have higher arcing rebounds. Randolph in the air, high points, It goes up, got absolutely mobbed. First by the defensive players and the foul, then by his own teammates for the celebration. But my goodness, that's the play of the day in this game, maybe in the MAC so far.
Yeah, I loved it. I love that reaction too. Just fired up for your team here. He's got 10 points.
So Randolph a chance to give St. Peter's back the lead as we seesaw with 10:08 in regulation time. Randolph's free throw is good, completes the 3-point play, and Randolph up to 11 points into double figures for the 10th time this season. Some defense chance, breakout here at Run Baby Run Arena. Collins Roberts accelerates, reverses, and scores for Marist for the lead.
Well, look at that rip through. Quick first steps there. Collins Roberts finishes on the other side. That's a tough bucket there. They'd really like to get him going too. It's good for 8 points a game. That was a sensational drive.
Up to 4 now, a couple of hoops. Marist in front, 38-37. Under 10 minutes to go.
Peacock's got to move the ball here.
A little stagnant thus far on this possession. Shot clock already down to 6. Ziegler works on Pasquarelli, bucked the shoulder in, missed the first try, then gets the rebound through 3. And we've got a whistle and a foul against Marist. Jaden Daughtry.
I thought Daughtry had the right idea there. Ziegler brought the ball down, but he kind of put one arm in there. Didn't really give him a chance to get the jump ball, but picks up a foul instead.
Daughtry's second, team's 4th. We may approach that bonus number of 7. 4 against Marist. Quick catch and shoot. Marcus Randolph thought he was fouled. Everyone did. Loose ball. and a jump ball.
Well, I'll be interested to take a look at that one because it looked like a lot of contact there. You know, Randolph was kind of a fadeaway shot. Likes to kick his feet out just a little bit there, but it looked like he might even hit him on the elbow. That was a really tough call there.
Well, you know what the Peacocks fans, how they feel. 9 minutes left to play. Marist up by 1, can extend the lead. Led by as many as 2 in the second half, 5 in the game back in the first half. 3 coming from Daughtry. It's an air ball. Right to Randolph. Randolph gets the lane, kicks out for Perkins. Perkins moving through, missed the first try. Hard to believe, both teams only have 12 points in the paint. It has been protected well on both sides.
They have certainly been clogging the paint up, making things difficult on both sides. Both teams, we talked about it, just defensive-minded and keeping you out the paint.
Pasquarelli is going to draw the foul. It was displaced, that second set of contact where the foul comes. And if that's Perkins, I believe it was. Yes, Perkins, that's number 4. So Perkins will have to go to the bench.
Luckily, the only one on the Peacocks in foul trouble really is Perkins. It has been a physical game here.
Teams matching subs. And away we go back to it. Collins Roberts inbounding for Marist underneath his own hoop. Almost gets to 5, throws it away. Randolph has it, look out, and a foul against Marist. St. Peter's will have it.
It's a really tough one there. Just going after the ball on that play, picks up a foul. But again, we see Randolph on the ground. Close 5-second count again on the inbounds. I've seen that twice now from Marist, but that was a really tough call there for Schofield. I don't think it was much of a foul, maybe even tripped over Randolph, but it's just one of those 50-50 balls that you're kind of going after there. Might pick up the foul, might not, and Schofield picks one up.
Schofield's first and the team's 5th as we tick towards 8 minutes to go. Marist up by 1. Bryce Eaton in the lane, looking for positioning. Eaton drops it back out, all the way to Ziegler. 7 to shoot. Ziegler going through, blocked by Schofield, tapped out. Here come the Red Foxes. Collins Roberts can't finish, but he was fouled.
I mean, the speed on Collins Roberts, I thought he was going to try to dunk that one. Oh boy, you hear from the crowd here. Peacocks haven't been able to play tight defense as they did in the first half.
Quite the atmosphere. The natives a bit restless. Marist 38, St. Peter's 37.
Target made Good and Gather for you, helping you save on sparkling waters in tastes you'll love. Made with natural flavors in fantastic combinations. We made Good and Gather for you, only at Target.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
See what's new at Weight Watchers. The #1 doctor-recommended points program now offers access to GLP-1 medications.
Your prescription's on its way.
Our members lose 21% of their body weight. Sign up now at WeightWatchers.com.
If you're one of the 70% of adults struggling with their weight, struggling to access care, struggling to find treatment that works, the problem isn't you, it's your healthcare. HIMSS clears the path to affordable, personalized weight loss plans for those who need them. Through HIMSS, a range of treatment options, including compounded GLP-1 injections, are currently available and ready to be delivered to your door. Real change starts here with HIMSS.
Try Little Caesar Stuffed Crazy Crust. Everyone loves it, including Justin Jefferson and all his friends.
Stuffed crust? Buttery garlic spread?
That looks mighty delicious, Justin. It sure does, Mr. Pumpernickel. And at $9.49, it's the lowest price in stuffed crust with no strings attached. No strings attached? You want a piece of me?
No, Mr. Pumpernickel. Justin, run.
Order delicious stuffed Crazy Crust for $9.49 and get your game day delivered with Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
7:45 left to go in regulation time. Marist 38, St. Peter's 37 in this MAC matchup here on Thursday night. Take a look at the upcoming schedule for the St. Peter's Peacocks. They will hit the road this weekend to take on Sacred Heart. That is on Saturday. Next week, just a solo week against Merrimack before combinations with Ryder and Mount St. Mary's. And then hitting the road to Loudonville to take on the Siena Saints. They come fast and furious. And the Peacocks hoping to climb out of what is currently a tie for 11th in the league. It's the top 10 that now qualify for the MAC tournament down in Atlantic City, but there is so much time left to go. Bashir Mason certainly not thinking about that right now.
Yeah, all about getting this victory here tonight and just kind of going from there. And you said it, they thought they got the first conference win against Canisius, hoping that kind of projects them forward into a good swing of things, trying to string together two wins.
Well, even if St. Peter's comes up short here tonight, I think they have to like their effort, their grit, their tenacity, their identity. I think it's here.
Definitely.
Back-to-back games made life incredibly difficult for Marist. Collins Roberts made the first and also makes the second. So Marist was 0 for 4 at the line in the first half and is now 6 for 6 from the charity stripe in the second half.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, this is not a team that gets to the free throw line a lot, but against aggressive defense that the Peacocks have, they're putting them on the line, giving them some points right now.
Marcus Randolph trying to fight through a screen away from the play. Now Ziegler. Randolph back in possession. That's a screen. Randolph, tough contested too. It's out of bounds. And last touch by St. Peter's. And Marist will have a chance to extend what's currently its largest lead of the second half.
Yeah, really nice job getting a stop there from Lewis. Getting over the top of the screen there, making it difficult for Randolph. And then the re-screen, still is able to contest, make that shot tough.
And a very quiet night for Josh Pasquarelli. Leading scorer of this team at 17 a game. Goes inside. Collins Roberts has 2 more and 8 points.
And now his other teammates just stepping up here. We said it, we needed a little bit more from the starters. It's 9 points off the bench. It's almost half of their points at halftime. So now the starters are finally getting into action here.
St. Peter's with just 11 points in the second half. Ziegler into the corner. Eaton's 3 off the front of the rim. Rebound Schofield and then fouled.
Marist again doing a nice job of just cleaning up the offensive rebounds here. St. Peter's in this game has 8, but it's all about getting the one-and-done stops, and this is how they've been able to come back down and capitalize off of it, getting a flow offensively, and so far they're just trying to extend this lead.
Foul on Marist, his first team 6th, so the next foul against St. Peter's will put Marist into the bonus. Pasquarelli's 3, good! Josh Pasquarelli gives the Red Foxes their largest lead of the night.
Well, look at the confidence there, just knocking it down, contested or not. A little step back move to get him just enough space to get that one off.
It's a 9-0 run and an 8-point lead for Marist. St. Peter's has not scored in more than 3.5 minutes. So fake the 3, So gets by, moves inside, and the floater too strong. And Marist is out of bounds, so it will stay with St. Peter's.
Well, the Red Foxes are just flying around defensively. We thought So was going to have an easy layup there, but the help side just kind of comes over, puts a hand up, makes that shot more difficult. They've been contesting everything, altering a few shots and a few possessions for the Peacocks.
Mohamed So has not scored in this game, has attempted 4 shots, 0 for 4 from the floor. They go into So here, and So is fouled. And I think they're going to get Daughtry. It is Daughtry, and Daughtry's 3rd. And that is the team's 6th. So Marist, its next foul will put St. Peter's into the bonus.
Well, got exactly what they wanted. Tried to get So in a situation where they could lob it up to him, and Daughtry was on him. Just kind of grabs the jersey, bail him out.
So averaging 9 points a game, still with 0 at this point. Randolph is fouled here, pushed down by Lewis, and that will mean free throws for St. Peter's.
Boy, we've been seeing a lot of whistles here. There's a little bit of a bump there from Lewis. Just can't get this ball in bounds. Kind of look like they headbutted each other almost on that play.
Lewis also caught a little contact on the screen on the way by from So, it looked like, and took him off his path a little.
Yeah, it looks like these fouls can go either way sometimes. We're even looking at the replay. Both teams have just been very physical.
Front end of the 1-and-1 is through for Randolph. Perfect 5 for 5 at the line tonight. Marcus, a member of the preseason All-Conference 3rd team in the release prior to the start of the season. And makes both. Randolph with 12 points now tonight. Stops the bleeding a bit. St. Peter's from the field, 1 for its last 11. Looking for a stop here. Marist up by 6, has outscored the Peacocks by 12 in the second half, 25-13. Crossover by Daughtry, shoveled back for Price. Price stops, comes through, and finishes. Jackson Price off the bounce.
And what an adjustment there from Price. He run it out of him, and he's hit 3 threes in this game, but this time puts the ball on the floor. And talk about the footwork there from the step through, and finishes with the left.
13 points for Price, his 3rd straight game in double figures, and the most points he's scored since November 30th against Lehigh when he had 14. More importantly, an 8-point lead for the Red Foxes. 3, much needed for St. Peter's and Ziegler.
Yeah, they needed that one bad there, and credit to Ziegler. It seems like he always has his feet set, ready to knock one down, and his teammates have great ball movement. They were 1 of 11 before that possession, so it's good to see to go.
It's a 5-point game with 5:02 left to play. Timeout, St. Peter's. Marist 47, and St. Peter's 42.
Anchored in a region that stretches across vibrant cities and historic landscapes, our institutions are driven by a commitment to academic and athletic excellence. Our student athletes are not only champions through competition and in the classroom, they are lending a helping hand to build a better tomorrow. Join us in shaping a brighter future in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
In March 2022, St. Peter's University lifted up the world and left it wanting more.
The world needs more peacocks.
We look like the world and feel like home. And our professors are peacocks too. This is hands-on first-person learning. It's an education that's the total package. And we're much more than the sixth borough. When peacocks fly, we lift up everybody.
You can be a peacock too.
5-point game here in Jersey City. A look at some of the latest plays inside. Jaden Collins-Roberts, a couple of big buckets recently.
Absolutely, and then Pasquarelli kind of joining the party here, knocking down some threes, has been very beneficial for Marist, where Price, who had the hot hand from 3, made that adjustment to go points in the paint that time, and then Ziegler hitting down a big three-pointer. They needed that to kind of close the gap just a little bit on the scoring. But credit to Marist for getting some big stops on defense, being able to knock down some shots, and so far has the lead up 5 right now.
Ziegler into double-figure scoring with that 3 hit just before the timeout. 10 points for Ziegler. 8th time this year into double-digit points. He dropped 30 on St. Elizabeth back on November the 20th, just before Thanksgiving. Fans have been treated to a good one here in Jersey City tonight. And the best is likely not been revealed just yet. 5 minutes to go, Marist basketball. Red Foxes 4 for their last 5 from the floor. Peacocks just 1 for their last 8. The 1, the 3 that we just relived from before the timeout. Price is open for another 3. Oh, he's got another.
What a nice job being shot ready there. And Collins Roberts, look how fast he gets downhill. Draws 2 defenders there. Recognizes Price was wide open. And Price, man, he is hot right now.
16 points, second highest of the season. Eaton long range to answer, could not. Randolph tracks down the offensive rebound, but he was out of bounds. Well, Jackson Price did put up 20 against Richmond on November 9th. Josh Pasquarelli is typically the leading scorer, averaging 17 a game. Pasquarelli just 7. Price has really come up big tonight.
Absolutely. You know, he was in a shooting slump for a few games as well, too. Went 0 of 4 from 3 last time out against Fairfield. And, man, boy, did he shoot himself out of it with this one. And that is such a positive sign for Marist. They're going to need him to knock down some threes, make some big plays there. The senior has really stepped up so far in this second half.
In his last 7 games, he was just 4 for 26 from 3. That's a teens percentage, right around 17%. Pasquarelli off the bounce, and Marist has found its offensive legs at the best time.
Well, you got to know that's going to happen, right? I mean, this is a team, again, they can give you 70 points per game, low scoring in the first half, but this time making the right read, getting in the groove, getting the mid-range, getting some threes, just hitting you with multiple scoring efforts.
Red Fox is looking to move to 6-0 in conference play for the first time in its history. Williamson with the answer for St. Peter's.
Nice pass coming off the screen there, and the roll hits him right down the middle there for Williamson, and it was a nice finish.
Marist also looking to extend its winning streak to 9 games, which would be its 2nd longest in Division I program history. A lot on the line. And most importantly, first place atop the MAC. Pasquarelli's 3. Too strong. Good look. Rebound down to Ziegler. Just 3 minutes to play. Every basket, every possession matters, especially for the trailing Peacocks. Randolph's 3 in the corner. It's an air ball, but right to So.
And only got 8 seconds on the shot clock now.
Here's Eaton, left side of the lane. Eaton stops, needs an outlet, looks at the clock, puts up a prayer, no. Controlled by Marist.
Great defense there from Price. Really just great team defense all around the Red Foxes.
Less than 2.5 minutes to play. Bounce pass Pasquarelli. Bucket here could make it double figures. Marist did lead by 10 a moment ago. Price for a 3 from Lewis. Short off the left side of the rim. Here comes Bryce Eaton. 2 minutes to go. Transition 3, Randolph off the rim. And the rebound controlled by Daughtry.
Now the Peacocks got to pressure him. Got to speed him up, try to get a turnover here.
And a foul is committed. And that is going to result in free throws. After a timeout on the floor, still owed the under 4. Here it is. Marist has surged here in the second half. They put up only 20 points in the first half. They have scored 32 in the second and lead by 8 with less than 2 minutes to play.
Target made Good and Gather for you, helping you save on tasty berries frozen at peak ripeness, ready whenever you need them. Everyday favorites at unbeatable prices. We made Good and Gather for you, only at Target.
touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Burger King has a deal for all. $5 duo answers hunger's call. $7 trio, more options for y'all. Which one will you choose? At BK, have it your way.
See everything that's new at Weight Watchers. You can now get access to GLP-1s if you qualify, and virtual one-on-ones with a registered dietitian.
That's a great way to get more protein.
Plus, our Proven Points program now has over 150 new zero-point foods. Get your best results ever with the #1 doctor-recommended weight loss program. Try a whole new Weight Watchers. Sign up now at WeightWatchers.com.
This is TGL presented by SoFi. 24 of the best players in the world, no, the universe, pitted against each other 3 versus 3. In a first-of-its-kind arena. More Tiger, more Rory, more everybody. Hey, 6 teams, Atlanta, Boston, LA, New York, the Bay, and Jupiter.
Not that Jupiter.
What else? We had a shot clock, mic'd up players, a ref, playoffs, 15 holes, overtime, timeouts. Did we mention the green moves? High tech, higher stakes, and you get to watch it all on ESPN, baby. Keep up. It's golf.
Back in Jersey City, the Yanatelli Center at Run Baby Run Arena. Thanks so much for joining us tonight for MAC basketball with Dom Patrick, Drew Casey, the rest of our team. Inside of 2 minutes to go, Marist up by 8, and Dom, if the Red Foxes make their free throws and don't turn it over, in good shape as we look at some of the highlights.
Yeah, man, Jackson Price really came to play here tonight. We talked about him being in the shooting slump, but he's been shot ready the entire game, knocking down some big ones for him. Pasquarelli also getting involved in the offense as well. He's had a little bit of a quiet night here tonight, but timely shots for this team to just kind of grit it out, and now being up 8.
So a foul before the break, committed by Bryce Eaton. 7-team fouls, so 1-and-1. Front end is off the back of the rim, but an offensive rebound. Daughtry goes to work underneath the hoop. Gets it out into the corner for Pasquarelli. Gets it out to Lewis. Now that'll work for Marist. Possession, and the clock continues to roll. No foul here. And now a timeout called by John Dunn and Marist. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Just want to make sure it's not a turnover there. Wasted possession. What a big offensive board there for Marist. The Peacocks trying to get the stop. They got the stop that they wanted, and now had a chance to hold that possession.
Well, John Dunn now in his 7th season as the head coach at Marist. He did spend 12 consecutive seasons as the head coach here at St. Peter's, and we spoke earlier this week, and I asked him, how does it feel coming back now so many years later? And he said it's a lot less anxiety producing because in the early years, a lot of the guys on the St. Peter's team, he recruited and knew very well, and those were tough game days for him. But now, looking to win for the first time in 4 years here in Jersey City.
Yeah, can imagine it, just being on the other side. It's kind of an awkward feeling here, just playing on this court again, but he said it. It's tough to win here, and it's tough to face the Peacocks because of their identity. They want to speed you up and wreak havoc, and so far his team did a nice job of just weathering the storm coming out.
And with that long stint in the MAC, he is the 2nd winningest head coach in MAC history. Stolen away off the inbounds, other side. Now that's what St. Peter's needed quickly. A Williamson bucket.
Well, he's played some nice minutes for them here tonight. 17 minutes, 6 points. Tough bucket.
Approaching a minute to go. Caught by Price. Looking for a trap. St. Peter's, at least Bashir Mason wanted one. They're going to play this out, the St. Peter's defensive unit. Trailing by 6 with exactly 1 minute to play. Lewis survey. Peeks at the clock. Lewis crosses over, lost the ball. Stolen by Eaton. It's 2-on-1. Williamson attacks the basket and is fouled.
And as I mentioned last possession, he's played some really big minutes for them. Just sits down here and guards, and the sticky fingers here of Eaton. And then a nice pass there in transition. Got to get something going to the cup there. There's a trip to the free throw line, who St. Peter's has been remarkable at the free throw line here tonight. Only one miss, shooting 91%.
2 shots for Williamson, who is a 71% shooter on the season. First is up and no good. This was a 52-42 game at the exact 4-minute mark. St. Peter's has done what it's needed to do defensively. Looking to find a way to get closer. Second from Williamson is good. Both teams now have 2 timeouts remaining, and both teams in the single bonus. Trap applied in the backcourt, no foul. Out to Pasquarelli, who should be able to break half court. And fouled by Randolph. And Josh Pasquarelli will get free throws.
Well, it was almost spooky there because they got the trap that they wanted on Lewis, and so it's on the ball for a reason. That long trap coming over at 6'9". But nice job from Pasquarelli, just kind of floating around, making himself available for that next pass.
It's the 8th team foul, so it'll be another 1-and-1 for Marist and Pasquarelli. 74% at the line. Front end is good. Still keeps it a 2-possession game at 53-47 and plenty of time with 38 8/10 seconds remaining. Pasquarelli misses the second. Here's Ziegler. Ziegler trying to attack the lane, does so and lays it in. Timeout Peacocks.
Well, getting a quick bucket there is what they needed, and Ziegler, nice ball handling there. Marist didn't want to pick up a foul and just goes about his business to score that layup there.
It's going to be a full timeout for St. Peter's. Unsure if it was going to be a 30 or a full. So St. Peter's goes full here, down 4 points. It is a 7-1 run to get to this point, and you have to think, Dom, they're going to go for the steal, the trap, maybe look for a 10-second violation, and after that, a quick foul. Marist will again have a 1-and-1 if it's not in the act of shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's got to be all hands on deck defensively. We thought last time the way they broke the press was top notch. I mean, Pasquarelli just met the pass there, but if you're going to do the trap, the next pass has to be taken away so you can get the steal that you want. And we know the Peacocks are so good at wreaking havoc here. Just going to try their best to get some stops here.
Officials are over at the monitor during this timeout, likely to just check the clock. If you do not see anything nefarious, that would warrant another look. Ziegler, by the way, is up to 12 points. It's 3 in double figures. Randolph with 13, Ziegler with 12, 11 for Eaton on the St. Peter's side. And 2 in double figures for Marist, the 16 of Jackson Price. If this is a Marist win, that's going to be the main story. And Pasquarelli with 10. Officials have concluded their look at the monitor during the timeout. And it looks like the time is correct. So here we go. Sheer Mason, you could see mouthing to the officials, "We're not fouling." So that is not the intention as they match up here with pressure.
Trying to get a steal, trying to get something quick.
So will guard the inbounder with that length. Collins Roberts can run the baseline, gets it into Lewis, who's trapped. Marist still has a pair of timeouts. Looking to break the timeline. In time in doing so, Lewis now looking to foul, you would think. Continuing to pass around. The Peacocks need to foul. And now they do, but let precious seconds, at least 2, maybe 5 or even 7 seconds tick off.
Yeah. I mean, Eden's got to get up on the pass there. Once the press is broken, got to get a foul immediately there, and those are valuable seconds. Ticked off the clock there. It's a really tough situation there for the Peacocks. Hoping for a miss.
And it's Elijah Lewis, 90% from the free throw line. Front end of the 1-and-1 is good. Almost looked like Marcus Randolph hit him on the release there. If he missed that, it might have been a lane violation. That was very unusual.
He jumped in really quickly.
Right?
Yeah, he did.
Lewis made it. It's a 5-point game. St. Peter's does have one timeout left. It looks like they'll hold on to it for now, but with all the time that ticked off, you might have to now shoot for a 3. Ziegler is going to go for a 2, reverse, and score. 9.5 seconds to go. 4-point game. Marist has 2 timeouts, getting it into Lewis in the corner. The trap applied, but I think Marist is content to take a trap. 5 seconds would get it under 5 seconds in the game, and then a foul.
Yeah, I don't even think Eden was trying to foul there.
No, I don't think so.
Looked upset with that call. They're just trying to go for the steal. Frustrating night here for the Peacocks. I thought they played a tough game, but now as clock is winding down, it's really put in a tough situation there, and it's unfortunate.
Lewis at the free throw line. He's had a really tough night for a 90% shooter. He's now 4 of 7 from the free throw line. So that 90% is going to drop. Some of the St. Peter's faithful starting to hit the exits. 6.8 seconds to go. Stranger things have happened, but a 5-point game. Need a 3 and a miracle if you're the Peacocks. Up ahead, it's Ziegler taken away, and the Marist Red Foxes are going to start 6-0 in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference